Hello guys, let's go to Barnes & Noble. There are so many cars here, it's gonna be pretty crowded. I really want to see what Harry Potter stuff they have. The tabs kind of stick out really far. I feel like I'd be worried that they would bend really easily. But it's cool. I like the design on the front. I kind of want to get one of these puzzles. Oh my gosh. His body is the couch. Ugh. Gotta love Dumbledore. Welcome to Summerween reading part 2. Last night I bought Misery by Stephen King from Barnes & Noble, and I've only ever read Christine by Stephen King, so I went to go look for some spooky books, and I was looking at all of the Stephen King books, and I ended up calling my dad and asking him which one I should read next. I was trying to decide between The Shining, Salem's Lot, Misery, and Pet Sematary. And my dad said I should read this one. So we're gonna try it. The cover looks so terrifying. There's like this girl holding an axe with like a blood slash through her face. So I hope it's like not as scary as the cover, because this is like a little intense. But I'm so excited to read another one of his books. I do think this is a lot shorter than Christine. This is only a little over 300 pages. The back says, best-selling novelist Paul Sheldon thinks he's finally free of Misery Chastain. In a controversial career move, he's just killed off the popular protagonist of his beloved romance series in favor of expanding his creative horizons. But such change doesn't come without consequences. After a near-fatal car accident in Colorado leaves his body broken, Paul finds himself at the mercy of the terrifying rescuer who's nursing him back to health, his self-proclaimed #1 fan, Annie Wilkes. Annie is very upset over what Paul did to Misery and demands that he finds a way to bring her back by writing a new novel, his best yet, and one that's exclusively for her. It's clear that Paul has all the time in the world to do so as the prisoner in her isolated house. And Annie has some very persuasive and violent methods to get exactly what she wants. That sounds so, like kind of so scary, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try reading this. I don't think that there's gonna be like a fantasy element like there was in Christine with how like the car comes to life and everything. So that just means it's gonna be like a crazy psychopath person, and those always scare me so much more than any sort of paranormal horror. Also, on the back, there's a quote that says, "You owe me your life, Paul. I hope you'll remember that. I hope you'll keep that in mind." I'm gonna start reading and hope that I don't get too scared. It is the middle of the day, so that's better than reading at night for me, because reading scary books at night is definitely a mood, but sometimes I need to make sure that I'm not like the only one in the house when I do that, because any sort of sounds, I get really freaked out. So at least it's daylight when I'm starting this. I have to show you guys this dress that I ordered online. I just received it, but the way they packaged it just made me laugh. So this is the dress, and they packaged it. I've never received any clothing like this before, And I just thought that was so funny. I guess it saves on space to package it this way, but yeah, I just had to laugh with like how tiny and thin this package was. And then with Misery, I'm only on page like 15, but the main character gets in a car accident and is rescued by this woman, and he has been taken to her house where she's been nursing him back to health, but she's also been like drugging him to high heaven with like an opioid to help with the pain. And within the first 15 pages, the main character, Paul, can already tell that this woman is crazy, even through his like drug brain haze as he's recovering from this car accident. And let me read this sentence to you. It says, "She gave him a strange maternal grin. For the first time, clearly the thought surfaced in Paul Sheldon's mind. I am in trouble here. This woman is not right." So that's only on page 15. Yeah, very curious to see where this is headed, because I was a little worried that the description on the back kind of gave it away. But all of that happens within like the first 15 pages. Like, you're introduced to the scenario really quickly. So I don't know, there's like still 300 pages left for things to go terribly wrong. I found this recipe for sweet potato brownies, which sounded so interesting. I thought it would be worth a try. It's just a sweet potato, banana, what else is in it? I need the recipe. Oh, yogurt, cinnamon powder, and then you just mix it up together and bake it. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. I'm a little worried it's just gonna taste like a chocolate potato, but I don't know. I'm just gonna have to make it and find out. So I'm gonna make those and see how they turn out, if they're like a healthier alternative to brownies. Okay, update on the sweet potato brownies. I'm a little mixed about it. Would I make sweet potato brownies again? Yes, I would. Would I make this recipe again? Probably not. I think that it just needs flour and some sort of leavening agent to make it feel a bit more like a brownie, because I knew going into it, if there's just sweet potato and banana, like the consistency is not going to be bread-like whatsoever. But it just didn't do it for me. I don't know, the texture is a little weird, so I do want to try making sweet potato brownies again, but trying a different recipe that has flour and a little bit more ingredients, because I think there's just not enough ingredients to create like a brownie texture. Today I've also been reading more of Misery. I'm like 95 pages now. And you know really early on that Annie is kind of crazy, but the further you get in the book, you realize how volatile Annie is. And at one point, Paul tries to manipulate Annie a little bit, and she catches on and gets like really mad and upset. You can tell Annie's really dangerous because she's not quite there mentally, but she's there enough to realize when she's being tricked. So definitely an interesting dynamic with that. Oh, and one more thing before I forget. Leo and I are going to a Harry Potter drone show this week, and I'm so excited. I don't really know what to expect. I've never been to a drone show before, but I guess it's one that like has been traveling all around the world, and they came to my city, so we got tickets for that, and I definitely want to dress up. I think I will at least wear my Hufflepuff scarf and maybe even my house sweater, because I think it's supposed to be a little chilly. The show doesn't start till like 9:30, so the sun's definitely going to be down and probably a little bit cold. I need to pick what I'm going to wear, but I am just so excited. It is going to be a long weekend with the 4th of July, and so we're going to kick it off with some Harry Potter. I am getting ready for the Harry Potter drone show, and I need to pick out what I'm gonna wear. I think I'm definitely gonna wear my Hufflepuff sweater because I think it might be kind of cold. So let's pull that out. I also need my time turner because you never know when you need to turn back time. Okay, here's that. And then maybe I'll add a white button down to make it look more like a Hogwarts uniform. Maybe this. I think that'll be thin enough to go underneath. Okay, this is my outfit. I've got my Hogwarts sweater and I've just put it on top of this white button down. And then I have just a little black skirt, some tights. I've got, of course, my time turner, and then I have little lightning bolt earrings. I pulled out my scarf, but I think it's just gonna be a little too much. I don't think it's gonna be cold enough for a scarf. So I don't think I'm gonna bring that. I think I'm just gonna bring a little like jacket in case I get cold, but no scarf. So yeah, that is what I'm gonna wear. We have our churros and we're...
I didn't know you were recording.
Are you excited?
Yeah. It's almost starting.
There's a lot of people here.
I feel well.
I stayed up really late last night finishing Misery, and I can definitely say this is a lot more gory than Christine. And I think the reason that I can read scary books but not watch scary movies is because with a book, I can kind of like glaze over the gore in my mind. I'll just be like, yeah, I'm not gonna imagine that. But with a movie, you're like forced to see a visual, and I usually just, I don't want to see that. I just feel like Stephen King books are like a train wreck that you want to look away from, but you can't help but stare at. Like, you have to know how it ends because you're just like, how is this character going to get out of this situation? So I think this is a good option if you're looking for like a scary horror for summerween or just Halloween when fall comes. And yeah, I think I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed Summerween Part 2, and I will see you guys again very soon.